All right, so I am joined by M.K. Williams. First of all, thank you for taking the time to speak to me.
Oh, of course, I'm happy to be here.
And just wanted to start. Now, I saw on your author bio that you have spent time living both in Philadelphia and in Florida. Now, I made the mistake of going to Florida in August once to Orlando, and I've never been so sweaty in my life. But I also used to live near Detroit, and I know that the winters up there can be brutal. So what is the lesser of the two evils, the Florida summer or the Philadelphia winter?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say the Florida summer is the lesser of two evils because everywhere here has air conditioning.
Fair enough.
When I lived in Philadelphia, I found this beautiful apartment to move into and had the old-fashioned elevator with like the two doors you had to pull, and it was very antique. And I was like, this is great. No air conditioning in the summer because it's a historic building, and it would be a lot of extra money. And I was like, well, that's a problem because I can always add more layers on in the winter.
Yeah.
But in the summer, like you can only do so much. So
Yeah.
in the Florida heat, there's air conditioning. We have like reverse hibernation down here. So in the winter, we like go out kayaking. We'll take long walks. Just be outside as much as we can. But once the summer hits, it's just inside all the time with air conditioning on.
So I find it weird because in England, they don't have air conditioning anywhere and they don't have fly screens. So in the summer, usually it's fine, but if you get a hot summer's day, like this summer just gone has been really hot. So you kind of can't have the window open too far, or we have cats and the cats will jump out the windows. But if you don't have the window open, then you just roast because there's no, so I can definitely agree that, you definitely want to put layers on rather than, because if you're hot and sweaty, you can't sleep, and that's...
Exactly. So.
Now, you say in your... again, your writing profile, that your influences come from a lifelong sort of obsession, I guess, with suspense movies. So
Yes.
which would be your favorite suspenseful movie?
Ooh, so I'd have to say Law Abiding Citizen. It's set in Philadelphia, so,
Yeah, that helps.
It's my home. But it was just done so well and so well constructed with kind of a whodunit, with the suspense. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to give too much away because it is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Some really great actors in it, but that's one that really stands out as a great suspense movie.
Okay, I have heard of it. I don't know that I've seen it. I always forget what movies I've seen. I don't know names, and then I'll start watching and be like, oh yeah, no, I've seen this. So
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it, but I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. It's a little scary, so
Oh, okay.
if it's scary, then yeah, you can warn.
I'll watch it at lunchtime rather than dinner time, maybe.
Perfect.
Now, you say too that one of your favorite authors is Margaret Atwood. So how addicted are you to The Handmaid's Tale?
That actually wasn't the first book of hers that I read.
Oh, no?
So, I started with The Blind Assassin, and
Okay.
I really fell in love with her books there. And then after my first book came out, a friend of mine recommended her series that started with Oryx and Crake because it was post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
And she just recommended that book because that's what she read, and then I found out it was a series, and I was like, now I have to read the entire series right now. I had to finish it. So I really fell in love with her books. So Handmaid's Tale was one of the later ones that I read, and I loved it. It was very classic Margaret Atwood. And so I've watched the first season of the show. I haven't watched the second. I try and make a point to not watch TV, so I have more time to write. But then a great adaptation comes out of a book that I loved, and I'm like, oh no, now I have to watch it. What do I do? So I saw the first season. I haven't seen the second yet, so I'm really excited to watch that when I can find time.
Okay, because my wife started watching it without me, so at some point in the future I plan on just binging through it, but I'll maybe wait till you get 3 or 4 seasons in, and then I can just kill a week or something doing that.
Exactly. I'm excited to see where they take it as it goes off the rails from the book.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, your day job, I believe, is in sports marketing.
Yes.
Now, I was wondering, do you find any inspiration for your writing through sports marketing? Or
Not necessarily for the writing, because I like to write dark suspense, and thankfully I work at a positive work environment. Not too many murder mysteries or thriller type things going on there. But I think working in marketing in general just inspires me for promoting the books.
For sure.
Because there's the one act of writing the book and getting that done, and then there's the I have to go and tell people about it and get them to buy it. And that's one thing I hear a lot is that the book blurbs that people read often don't have anything to do with the book itself. It's the marketing part to get you to pick it up that quick, that sounds interesting, and I'll read it. So it kind of helps me think more creatively on how I can market the books better.
Yeah, for sure.
When I have all those engines firing, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's great. Now I know what to do there. So it definitely helps me think outside the box of just the book marketing tips that are all over the internet to say oh, well, what else could I do? Oh, that's interesting. Let me try this. Let me see if I could adapt this to work here. So it's been really helpful.
That's funny you say book blurbs, because whenever I'm writing a book blurb of my own, I always like picture like the movie cinema, like the promo guy's voice or the preview guy's voice. I'm always writing the blurb with like his voice going in my head, and that's how I try and make it.
Yes. Oh, I should try and think of it that way. I feel like maybe mine would be more epic. I always start mine with a question, and somebody called out that like a lot of my marketing copy always starts with a question like, have you always wanted to do this? Or like, did you know XYZ? And so I looked at my book blurbs and I was like, yeah, I need to change that.
It's funny, you think you're being original, and then someone will call you out, and so you realize you're actually being original the same way over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, well, I'm glad somebody like had the insight to point that out to me, because otherwise I would never know. So,
yeah, for sure.
Trying to go back and fix that.
Now, I'm currently reading Enemies of Peace, which I'm really, really enjoying. I've almost done. It's just I had to stop reading to come and do this, so
okay.
I'll hopefully go and finish it after this. But one of the main themes in that is sort of like the pressure to maintain the American dream. I was wondering, is that like where did you get that idea from? Is that something that you struggle with? You see people struggle with, because I think a lot of people will relate to that sort of struggle that they have in the book.
Yeah, so I think part of it was inspired by the fact that my husband and I are both very frugal people just by nature. If we could pick going out to like a dinner and a movie, or like staying in and playing a board game and just going for a walk around our neighborhood, we would pick the latter. We're just very easygoing. We like to save and be thrifty. And so sometimes we were like, well, what do you mean you didn't go to see that movie? Or like, why you didn't buy new furniture? Like when you got a promotion? I'm like, no, like the furniture I have works. And so like I would just feel that kind of like reverse pressure to like, why aren't you spending more? Why aren't you doing more? So I thought that would be interesting to kind of parallel a couple who is so far to one end and the other that's so far to the other end, and kind of see where the tension ensues. And I think it's just a very common like thread in American society of this idea of you don't want to be seen as being too materialistic or too obsessed with the money or the possessions, but at the same time you have the celebrities who have the greatest thing, the best thing, and everybody's chasing after that. And kind of this idea of there's always like the other in society. But like, what if being the other is just not wanting to spend all your money and just like enjoy the things that you have? So I kind of wanted to explore that and throw in some mystery and intrigue and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. It's building, and it's just, I'm not going to sleep tonight because I've got to finish it at this point. So.
Oh, great! That's great to hear.
And I should say too, it's not just Enemies of Peace that you've written; it's also Nail Biters, and there's a collection of short stories. The name just escapes me right now. What was the name?
Games You Cannot Win.
That's right. Now, for anybody who's looking to read an M.K. Williams book, what can they expect?
So I try to go off of like the Stephen King school of, it could be a thriller, it could be suspense, but it's really a character study of, XYZ person is put into this crazy situation, how do they respond to it? So I've really tried to follow that school of, it's not just all these crazy things are happening, isn't this a crazy story? It's it's happening to this person, and how are they reacting under that pressure, under these circumstances? So I try to build in some good twists. I always love a good twist, and I feel like I have read so many suspenseful books that I kind of see all the twists coming, so I try and like truly surprise people with it. I don't want to put something out that people are like, oh, okay, I saw that coming a million miles away. So yeah, expect to be surprised, expect to be a little scared, and just get to connect with the characters. And
speaking of the characters, now I find in Enemies of the Peace that all the characters are flawed. Like, I find myself sometimes just hating Cynthia so much, and then other times I hate Timothy, and it's just, but then they all have redeeming. Other times it's just like, oh yeah, you kind of see where they're coming from. Like, where do you draw inspiration for the characters to get such well balanced? Because no one's perfect, right? So they are sort of more lifelike in that sense.
Yeah, so I came from a few places. So one, I noticed when I was reading The Girl on the Train, so my husband read it before me, and then I read it, and I was like, does this end with all of them getting hit by the train? I hate all of them. And so I realized that like people just are drawn to these books for these characters, and they're like, don't do that. Stop it. Like, I hate that. So I wanted to incorporate some of that, but some of the characters are based on people that parts of them are based on people that I've met in real life, where, there's nobody who's truly as materialistic as Cynthia out there, but you meet people who have those moments where like, okay, you're gonna look back in a year and feel so dumb for how crazy you're getting over like the invitations to your wedding. Like, calm down, like it's not a contest, like you're not competing with anybody. So just from some coworkers that I had that were crazy, and then from some just observing situations of people who just kind of take things way too far to one extreme, where I'm just like, chill out. Like, it's all good. So just kind of grabbing bits and pieces of people and some archetypes, and yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Now, you did kind of mention that you have a YouTube channel of your own. I will link that in the description. Do you want to tell us what the YouTube channel is about?
Yeah, so I found that being a published author, when I would meet people who were interested in reading or writing themselves, they would say, oh, that's so cool, like, how do I get published, or how do you do this, or how do you do that? And I was answering a lot of the same questions over and over. And so for an effort to steal more time back for myself to write, I was like, okay, maybe if I record these answers to the common questions, then that can help other people. It's like a quick little, 2 to 3 minutes of, here's the direct answer to this question that you might have. Instead of searching all over the internet, I've already learned it. So as a writer, you can only take a few minutes out of your writing time to watch it and learn, and then hopefully come back the next week for something else. But the idea was to help people, quick, succinct, and hopefully steal some time back for myself.
There we go. And I did watch a couple of them too, and they are very helpful, so it's definitely worth checking out, because I think anybody that's done the self-publishing route, that you always you do the first one, and then you just like all the things you did wrong. And then you do the second one, you make all the new different mistakes, and then so if you get sort of everybody sharing their mistakes, then it kind of helps the process go along a little bit quicker, I think. So it's definitely a resource that's worth checking out, I think, too.
Great, yeah, thank you. I hope it does help other people, and they can get to that, the next set of mistakes faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for stopping by. Now, I just wanted to say that all the links for MK's social media are going to be in the description, so check that out if you want to continue to follow her on her journey. And also the sales links for Enemies of the Peace, Nail Biters, and The Game You Cannot Win. They're going to be in the description as well. So I can definitely recommend Enemies of Peace. So it's if nothing else, then check that one out. So like I say, thank you so much for stopping by, and be sure to come back again.
Great, will do.
To finish off today, MK kindly agreed to read an extract of Enemies of Peace. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.
In the still and quiet emptiness of the living room, Jack Rychek reclined in the fold-up camping chair that was one of the 3 remaining items in the entire downstairs of their house. The water-resistant fabric gave enough smooth support to prevent injury to his back, but not enough lumbar support to sit comfortably for too long. On that quiet Monday morning, Melinda was upstairs making her own final preparations. She was picking out the exact outfit she intended to wear for the big day. It seemed like such a trivial detail, but she was fixated on finding the perfect combination from her recently reduced wardrobe. Jack could hear her shuffling around upstairs as he took in the vast white emptiness of the walls, bare and completely smooth. Having been recently painted bright white, they were almost blinding as the sun filtered through the open windows and splashed across vast bands of the exposed walls. His cell phone rang and the standard chimes sounded off. He picked up the flip phone from a small box that served as a makeshift coffee table between the 2 camp chairs set up in the living room. Hello, he answered firmly, feeling a slight apprehension every time he saw an incoming call from that number. Would it be good news or bad? Would there be some unforeseen circumstance that could cause a delay or require additional funds to handle? The voice on the other end was cheery, effusive. Jack could never match the level of this man's verbal enthusiasm. Maybe the stress had been wearing on him too much. There were so many details to plan, so many final items to put in place. He was sure he would miss something, and that unsettled him. After the man finished talking, Jack responded with some questions. Okay, and the cash will be available when? The man's response was acceptable. He would take his own cut for sure, but there would still be more than enough for the Rycheks to live on after they took off. And the date hasn't changed? Again, a positive answer. Jack began to feel slightly more relaxed. No big last-minute changes. The plan was being executed so well. There was still a nagging feeling that he was missing something, but perhaps if he couldn't remember what that thing was, it wasn't that important after all. The conversation concluded and Jack flipped the phone shut. He grabbed his laptop from the space beneath his folding chair. He updated the already over-detailed and methodical notes on his multi-tabbed Excel document. He knew that most people would see him and his wife as crazy, as fanatical, but he was compelled to complete this task. The rest of his life was at stake.